Yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la la la. Yalla, yalla la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la la la. Yalla, yalla la 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 la, yalla, yalla la 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 la. Ya la ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 hey ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 hey ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 mi kolot maim maim rabim adirim Mishpereyam Bamir Bamaro Adonai Yalalai lai 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 Yalalai lai 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 Yalalai lai 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 Yalalai lai lai Yalalai lai 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 Yalalai lai 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 Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. The candles stand straight, and the flames point upward. And it is the story of many Hasidic rabbis that the flame is a bit like the soul, attached to the wick and attached to the candle and the wax, as the soul is attached to the body. And without the body, the soul cannot really exist. But you can notice that the flames point upward. And not only do they point upward, but they point upward as if they are really trying to ascend. And if they were to ascend, just like if a soul was to ascend, then they would cease to exist within our vision, within our perception. So the flame, therefore, is like a soul. And as I've said before, Einstein was once asked in relation to his theory of matter, and that matter cannot leave the universe. And he was asked the question, well, is the soul matter? Does the soul or does the soul just go away? And he said, well, it depends on if you believe in the soul. If you believe in the existence of a soul, then a soul can't disappear. It can only take on another form. So as the candles reach high, we begin with the blessing that says, we're grateful for light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And you notice that when I blow or when I wave, that the candles kind of bend over, which can symbolize the way a soul bends over when it's not being upright or doing exactly what is the right thing to do. But you notice that it always comes after the wind passes or the breeze passes or the disturbance passes, it always ends up pointing up. So I love that image. And of course, there is the quantum physics definition of the soul, which is to say the soul is infinite possibility. The soul is comprised of infinite possibility. Each human soul has infinite possibility. And as it makes a choice, many of those infinite possibilities pass away and become not possible, but new possibilities, infinite possibilities, grow. So for instance, if you choose to go to this place on your vacation, all the other places that were possible for you to go in your destiny looking back, you did not go. And if you wish you would have said something, but you didn't say something, then the possibility of you having said that would no longer exist. So that's what this particular scientist or physicist said. Hello, Mom. Hello, Phyllis. Hello, Michael. Shabbat Shalom. I realized something this week. It's really interesting. So I've been going different places, and I've thought about postponing Shabbat, but you can't postpone Shabbat. And I realized something else that's really cool about Shabbat is the Shabbat is portable. Because here I am in a different place doing Shabbat. And when I say doing Shabbat, I mean acknowledging Shabbat, which is the first stage, that it is Shabbat. And everybody who's watching, or everybody who's watching any service or at any service, is saying, is acknowledging that Shabbat exists. So Shabbat is about rest. And on the seventh day of creation, in the story of creation, it was to be a day of rest. Now, I don't know how many of you have this issue, but I have this issue. I sometimes don't know whether I am relaxing or if I'm exhausted. So in other words, if I just go to a nice easy chair and I sit back, like kind of like you do on Passover, and I go, oh my God, I got this wave over me. Sometimes I don't know the difference between, am I resting? Am I relaxing? Or am I exhausted? And am I just tired? So when you sit down, do you say, oh, I am so tired? Or when you sit down, do you say, oh, I am so relaxed? And sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything. And I think I should be doing something. So I become restless. And I do something like eat something that maybe I don't really need to eat, or call somebody I don't really need to call, or do a chore that I really don't need to do right now. So resting, relaxing, or am I decompressing? So of all those things, resting, relaxing, decompressing, did I say de-stressing, being tired, which of the ones are we doing? Which are we supposed to do? And the word that's used is rest. On the seventh day, God rested. And you don't have to believe in God to believe in the idea. Remember the ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha b'chol nafshecha b'chol meodecha, that says, and you shall love God. Now, it does not say, and you shall worship God, and it does not say you shall idolize God, and it does not say that you shall believe in God. If they wanted to say believe in God, they would have said believe in God, but say you should love God. So you can love God, and if you can't love God, and you know, if you can't wrap yourself around that, then know that God has no definition, but is perhaps an energy force, perhaps a movement, a motion, a verb, a gesture. Anyway, it says rest. So what is it to rest? And to rest, and I'm talking about in modern terms, not like, you can't turn on the light, you can't turn on the car. The original text says that you cannot make a fire and you cannot collect wood. So making a fire is to ignite something. And to ignite something is to make something new. And to make something new is to initiate something. So I'm thinking that means you should not initiate anything new on Shabbat. Just make a post-it and do it after Shabbat. And if it says you should not collect wood, in antiquity, it was necessary to collect wood. That was the work of the day, so that you would have enough to put in your stove and keep your little hut warm. So I'm imagining you should not work and you should not initiate. So if you're not doing your ordinary work and you're not initiating, then what are you doing? According to this teaching. And of course, it doesn't really matter. It absolutely does not matter. There's no need to argue whether it's true, whether any of these stories are true. They're stories. And they may not be true, but they're real because they have messages. So to rest. So what kinds of things for you comprise resting? Sitting, lying down, relaxing, decompressing. Does sleep fit into resting? Yes, sleep does, I think, fit into resting, but it's only a kind of resting. It's a very deep kind of resting, but you wouldn't sleep the whole Shabbat. So what kinds of things can we interpret that is okay to do? And if we interpret that to collect wood is an ordinary daily task that had to be done in antiquity, then we could conclude that we should not do ordinary daily tasks. Well, what are ordinary daily tasks? Empty the trash, mow the lawn, work out at the gym, go shopping, go on errands, fix things, mend things, do the honey-do list. All those things comprise the things that we ordinarily do every day. So I would think that those would be equal or equivalent to collecting wood. All right, and what about the igniting? So this is a curious one, because does igniting, can I write a song on Shabbat? I don't mean legally. I just mean, and I'm just realizing that I would say I can write a song on Shabbat, if it's not my ordinary work. So my ordinary work related to songs is to arrange and record and polish and erase and review and make it perfect. So I wouldn't say that I would be doing. But if I got an idea for a song and it came out and I could pick up my guitar, that would be, I think, outside of the realm of igniting. So igniting, making a fire is igniting. Is turning on a light igniting? I don't know, it's a technicality. Is flushing the toilet igniting? I don't think so, unless you have an electric toilet, which some people do. And, they have now heated toilet seats and bidets and all those things. So yeah, there could be electricity involved. Or is cooking, while cooking is igniting, starting a car is igniting. What is this thing about igniting, which I think is that we're always igniting, we're always initiating, we're always doing this thing and that thing. What's the next thing? And what's the next thing? And I think a good word for Shabbat would be to pause. It's not a sad time to pause and appreciate and immerse in the oneness of everything and nothing. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. So why I forgot the words? Because I thought about the question, what if I forgot the words? That's about thinking while praying. Apparently you're not supposed to think while you pray. So, what if you can't relax? What if you don't know how to relax? What if you don't know how to stop? What if you don't know how to pause? What if keeping going is what keeps you going? They talk about being a workaholic. Well, what is a workaholic's drug? The workaholic's drug is work. So basically, sometimes when it would be Saturday or Sunday, and I would get a little ping or a little ting of sadness, or maybe some kind of feeling a little bit depressed with a small d, I would get out something and work on it, and then I'd feel better. So that was my drug. That was my my treatment. That was my self-medicating. So some of us need to self-medicate in order to relax, i.e., some kind of drink, i.e. some kind of substance, i.e. some kind of pill, i.e. some kind of prescription, i.e. some kind of over-the-counter drug, i.e. some kind of food, i.e. sugar, whatever it is that is your slow it down. It's not, in my opinion, for me to judge. This is water, by the way. I can only speak for me. And I can say that anything that I do, such as sugar or junk food or perseveration, worry, overworking, all of those things are, in a way, self-medicating, and sometimes they do help. I'll tell you. and I'll say this again, chocolate, wow, chocolate is soothing for a lot of things. And sometimes when the stress is high, I say, I need chocolate. Okay. I do, and it's the difference between temporary fulfillment and desireless state. So the temporary is whatever the drug is, whatever the item is. I'm not going to judge for you, but for me, it's something sweet, something sugary, something to worry about. So when I imbibe or take in that drug, I temporarily feel better because I've been in a quest to do what Maimonides taught, which was to forget myself. Ultimately, when we are imbibing or when we are taking drugs or we are taking some kind of any kind of medication, we are in a way trying to forget about ourselves. And when we forget about ourselves, then ourself goes away temporarily and it comes back. What is it called when, in order to lose myself every time I need to take that particular substance, be it anything from food to sugar to whatever drug, I think they call that addiction. And addiction is compulsive, it is repetitive, it is obsessive. And I believe that it is strongly fed by the absence of the positive, happy side of what addiction could be, the flip side of addiction, which is ritual, or the flip side of obsession, which is ritual. To have rituals like lighting the candles, like celebrating the Shabbat, like reading the book, like meditating, like taking a walk, some kind of ritual that we do on a regular basis that makes us feel good. The difference is that in other words, it's interesting that we use substance because we're lacking substance. We're missing the substance that we're taking is the very thing that we're missing. So when we need substance, we need to bring something in. It would seem logical to bring something in that is lasting. So as an example, a ride at Disneyland is thrilling, but when it's over, and you can't really think about it in a way to get the same visceral feeling. But walking your dog on the beach, or playing a game, or telling stories, or listening to stories, or dancing, or even celebrating in some way is something that lasts, that has an extended time. So therefore, I'll go all the way back to saying, or to the beginning, to saying that the substances that we take are hallucinations of what we're really looking for. And I'm taking this opportunity to talk because I don't have my guitar, I'm not home, and I just thought I would mention it. So what do I mean by hallucination? A hallucination. So if you think of all the drugs we imbibe, we take in, alcohol, sugar, coffee, sugar, say sugar again, buying things, obsessive buying things, obsessive lying, whatever it is, it's a hallucination of something that we actually want. So someone smokes cigarettes, they actually want to stand around and do something that's relaxing so they can socially talk with other people. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people drink because when they drink, they become less inhibited and more free to be what they consider to be themselves, but actually to losing themselves. When people take ecstasy, it's because they want to be super, super happy. And when people shoot heroin, it's because they want to deaden the pain. So all the intentions behind these things that people do are for feelings and changes and moods and sensations that we want, but they are hallucinations. So sugar is a hallucination of happiness. And for me, I perceive that alcohol could be a hallucination of relaxing, of being uninhibited. So I'm not saying that anybody should or shouldn't do what they feel like doing as long as it doesn't hurt other people. But I'm saying there are so many things that we can do that bring us joy, that bring us good feelings, that bring us happiness, that bring us fulfillment, that get us high, that are not harmful or that are not detrimental or that are not hallucinations of the real thing. So it's not for me to decide what your hallucinations are, but I know what mine are. So better I should sit down and ignite a song than to eat a donut. There's no redeeming quality nutritionally in a donut. As a matter of fact, after a while, I feel pretty bad. So a donut is actually a perfect example of a drug. All right, why did I get going on this? Because I was talking about Shabbat being resting. It is, Shabbat is the rest of the week. So I'm going to sing a little song and maybe take a moment just to lose yourself a little bit, but don't lose, not necessarily to lose yourself to a substance. When people are really drunk or really high or really strung out, they do lose themselves. So I'm telling you about losing yourself just enough to be at peace. Ufros aleinu Sukkot, Sukkot, Shmo Mecha, Ufros aleinu Sukkot, Sukkot, Shlomecha, Yalla la la, Yalla la la, Yalla la 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 la, Yalla la la, Yalla la la, Yalla la 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 la. You know, it's a funny thing. We've all experienced losing someone, and some of us have experienced losing someone close. And when you lose someone real close, sometimes you're the one that has to decide what to say, or you're the one that has to decide what to write on their gravestone. So it is not a bad exercise to think about what you would write on your own gravestone while you're living. And perhaps sometimes it can be a silly thing and sometimes it can be a serious thing. But I thought one of my sillier tongue-in-cheek epitaphs would be, the other shoe never dropped. Anybody here waiting for the other shoe to drop? Any minute, something bad's going to happen. I know it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming. The other shoe never dropped. And thus saying most of the things we worry about don't happen, which is a little bit of a neurosis because we get to thinking that if we worry about it, it won't happen. Why does a student worry if they got an A on their test after they take it, when they're pretty sure they did get an A? Why would they worry about it? Do they actually think that's going to affect how the teacher grades their paper? No. We worry because we think worry has power. And again and again and again and again and again and again and again, I say, if you're going to worry, you might as well pray. Because pray is just the flip side of worry, just like ritual is the flip side of obsession or compulsion. So if you're going to worry, you might as well pray, because we think that they have power. So if we think it has power, then do it. But better, I think it feels better to pray than to worry. What is to pray? To pray is to hope, to wish, to give power to I don't know why we pray, but we all do it. We pray that the test results come back negative. We pray that it won't flood. We pray that there won't be fires. We pray that our lost ones or our loved ones who we have lost will rest in peace. We do pray. So if we're not praying to something, then what are we doing? And that's why I think to pray is I call praying to put it out there. To put it out there, as opposed to worrying, which is to manifest. We usually don't worry about good things. So worrying is kind of like manifesting something bad to happen. That's why Jews got into, well, what's the worst that could happen? Because if you say, what's the worst that can happen? Well, the worst that can happen is I can die. Okay, nothing to worry about, because I've already imagined what the worst is that can happen. The worst that can happen is I get an F on this test. Okay, I'll get an F on this test. The worst that can happen is I'll lose all my money and be destitute. Okay, so if you go all the way to the end, but we call that catastrophizing. Now, does that make us feel better, or does that make us feel worse? In my difficult times, I don't say it could always be worse. Because to say it could always be worse is to be tempting. I don't know, it's like the jinx. So why do we say it could always be worse when we could say it always could be better? If we're going to verbally affirm something that we're trying to manifest, why don't we do it in a positive way? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehekianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Thank you. I'm grateful for being on the continuum of this fantastic journey, having come from way back then to right now. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ezri me'im Adonai Oseh shamayim va'aretz. Ezri me'im Adonai Oseh shamayim va'aretz. Yasa einai elei arim me'ayin avo Ezri. Yasa einai elei arim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Again, hello, Mom. Hello, Phyllis. Hello, Michael. I'm sure we have some other people that I haven't said hello to, but at this point, I can't see their names. Yai diddy die diddy die 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 yai diddy die diddy die yai diddy die diddy die 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 yai diddy die diddy die yai die 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 yai diddy die diddy die yai die 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 diddy die diddy die Hey, I diddy die, diddy die, 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 diddy die, diddy die. Yai diddy die, diddy die, 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 diddy die, diddy die. I'm not going to tell somebody what is Shomer Shabbat and what isn't Shomer Shabbat. And I'm not going to tell anybody how they should be happy or satisfy themselves or what they should imbibe or shouldn't imbibe. But what I am going to say is something I realized while I was singing that last song. How about a modified Shabbat? And we agree to do only one thing at a time. Because so many of us sit there with our phones and we're telling someone a story. We say, so today I was driving and because they're texting while they're telling a story, and you what? And you what? So we're constantly waiting for the story to finish because we're all on our phone. So maybe we just say one thing at a time. So you're going to watch a baseball game, watch a baseball game. You're going to read a book, read a book. You're going to do a puzzle, do a puzzle. You're going to take a walk, take a walk. I think actually that's the core of Buddhism. When you eat, eat. When you sleep, sleep. When you talk, talk. Yeah, that. And the other part of Buddhism I love is the desireless state. So when we want something, when we order something, we can't wait for it to come. And it finally comes and we open it up and, oh, wow, we have the thing. Now we have something. The question is how long before we want something else? So because when we have something, we are in the desireless state, at least for that moment. At least for that moment. So I am going to bless the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu. V'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uv'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit. Ki hu yom tehila lemikra kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta, yotanu kidashta, mikol amin. V'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ava uratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. I won't tell you what this is, but it's not wine. It's not alcohol, but it's really good. Woo! All right. And then when Shabbat is over, we have Havdalah, which is the distinguishing moment between the Shabbat and the new week. And the new week is a time for igniting, for creating, for doing new things. And the new week is a time for working, a time for collecting, and a time for loving and caring. And it's always a time for sending good wishes to those who are ill for a short time or a long time. And for those that have lost people whom they love, And to remember, but we're here, but for a fleeting moment, and that life is a tremendous gift, and that our bodies are rental units for our souls, nice rental units, nice apartment for our soul. Got to take care of them. And I would extend out to everyone to find ways to help people feel comfortable getting vaccinated. Because if someone's not comfortable, you can understand why they don't want to do it. And what we need to do is be compassionate, to be understanding, to explain, to be encouraging, to be informational, and to encourage as many people to take part in the miracle that we call, the clinical term, vaccination. Let's call it a miracle. So I'm going to end the Shabbat tonight with a song about don't look at the outside of the bottle, because it often won't tell you what's in it, but look in the inside. And for the same thing, let's not objectify and look at people and comment that they're pretty or handsome or hot or whatever. But let's look behind the mask or the container that we call our body and what's inside. Amar, Amar, Amar Ravi Yehuda. 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 Al tistakel bekankan, ele b'ma sheyesh po. Al tistakel bekankan, ele b'ma sheyesh po. Amar, Amar, Amar Ravi Yehuda. Amar, Amar, Amar Ravi Yehuda. Thank you. Whatever it is that is the source of life, of all life, and specifically for us of human life, in which we have the ability to believe, to accept, to understand, to learn, to apologize, to show up, to make amends, and at least in an ego sense, to lose ourselves once in a while and just be. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom.